Hi, my name is Adam Schokcha. I'm 35 years old, living in the south of the Netherlands. You could actually say it's a suburb of the German city Aachen, so right at the border. I'm an MBA candidate in the MBA of International Business at the VU Universiteit in Amsterdam. And currently I'm working at Panov Consulting, which is a Swiss boutique consultancy specialized in automotive, and I'm working there as an automotive retail expert. After graduating, I had plans for my life, but it turned out that my life had other plans for me. So I didn't pursue the master program, which I actually wanted to. And after a few years of corporate experience, I took more and more responsibility on me. So I wanted to achieve two things. First, I wanted to have a solid backup when it comes to the knowledge. Second, I just wanted to have a broad view on business in general. And I thought this MBA program is the perfect way to do so. And it turned out that indeed it was. So I would definitely wanted something that was not too far away, even though Amsterdam is like more or less 200 kilometers away, but that's still acceptable. I didn't want to travel by plane or anything, so it should be reachable within a few hours, let's say by car or by train. And also the setup of the program. The MBA at the VU is like 18 months, which was totally fine for me. You have programs which take like 2 years or some are even shorter than that. So those two things were mostly what I was looking in. I knew it's going to be tough, and indeed it was at times. So I thought, okay, I really want that. The motivation is there, so you can basically, just focus on that for a certain period of time and then just give it everything. So I know that at some point I also thought like, okay, I want this to be over. Like, not that I didn't like it, but you know, you have a busy life, you work full time. We bought a house with my wife and things like that. So that was just another, let's say, huge topic on my shoulders, and I thought, okay, I want to have this done in a reasonable period of time. And I thought 18 months is not too bad. It's like 1.5 years, and you have time for the thesis. So in total, that was also one of the most important things. Maybe we can start with what happened in my life. We moved houses and for all those things, that was like right before I started the MBA. However, during the MBA, I changed my job. And to answer the question why such big events happen during the MBA, because I have also from my peers countless examples what happens in people's lives, I believe it kind of, it stimulates brainstorming maybe. That's how it felt for me. I mean, I wasn't looking actively for a job or whatsoever. I had a position. I was a project manager back then at Mercedes-Benz. It was a very comfortable position, I must say. But then you get to know people and you know what they do, where they work. And then you start to have this feeling for, okay, what's out there in the market? And once you're open to just this thought, okay, let me have a look. It's not like actively looking, it's just this thought, okay, what's out there? Then suddenly opportunities start to appear in your life. And that was the same situation with me. I just thought, okay, I found a job. The job found actually me, to be very honest. I read the job description. I was like, this is what I did the last few years. So why not giving it a try? And what I noticed now after this change, I'm definitely out of my comfort zone. And I believe that's also the key to further growth. So I think that other people also, when they are during the MBA, they realize a lot of things, they become more mature in a certain way, and that's why big events happen during the MBA. I would say it's more like you realize, okay, even if it's tough, you manage things, right? You manage your private life, you manage your job, you manage your MBA, everything basically full time, let's say. And then you realize, okay, I'm confident because I know I can do that. And then you start thinking about life differently. You start to risk more, or you think it's a risk, but actually it's not, because you have proven that you can manage multiple topics at the same time. And that was the same for me in the end. again, I think it was this. It opened me to this curiosity. Okay, you know what your peers are doing, and then you think like, okay, you have most likely your own ideal career path in front of you, but then you think like, okay, what would happen if? And that starts this circle, you know, and then you realize, okay, I'm more confident in those topics, I'm more confident in those topics. Now I know a bit more about that. I have some fundamental knowledge. And then you just start to thinking, okay, how can I, you know, make something more out of this, let's say, right? As I mentioned, for me, right now, I'm totally out of my comfort zone. And I think that's a good thing, because it's always nice to grow. It's always nice to also have a break in between, of course, because depending on your life situation. But then it's good to kick yourself out of the comfort zone again, and then you try to accomplish things, and you know you try to grow, and that was also here the case. Yeah, so the culture at the VU is, when it comes to the MBA, of course, because that's the only thing I know, it's really great, because on one side you have people who are, as you, busy with life, and you still have a common goal. That means you meet once in a while, like every 4 to 6 weeks, for a weekend of 3 days. You work on things together, which is actually a good amount of, let's say, personal contact. And then you have some homeworks, of course, but that doesn't mean that you do not talk to those people. You have friends around you, and I believe many of those friendships will last for long. And also during those assignments, you work in groups or you work individually, but then you still contact your peers, your colleagues, your friends, and then you realize, okay, we are in this together, right? So this strengthens you as a group as well, that you feel more connected. And also the teachers are very professional. It's just, of course, some push you harder than others, which is also part of it. But in the end, that's, I think, what makes it so unique, that you have really this experience of, okay, on one side, there's this academical part, which is the way it is. And then you have everybody contributing in a different way from the personal part. And then it matches somehow, in the middle. Oh, there is no ideal time, to be honest. The time will never be ideal, because I know out of my own experience, I have also waited many weeks, years, whatever, in my life to accomplish something. And then I realized there is no ideal time. It's just, if the motivation is big enough, you will manage, you will find time for it. And in the end, as mentioned in the beginning of the interview, big events happen during the MBA as well. So ideally, you would have a stable job, stable household, and so on. So then you can focus only on work, on the MBA. But that will not happen. And even if you think it will, then after a few months, something big will happen. So your life will be upside down again. So for me, the most important thing is, okay, what's your motivation? If the motivation is there, you will find time. You will have some busy periods as well. I mean, I remember days where I stopped working at 5 o'clock. I turned off my laptop, took out the private one, and started writing a paper. That will happen, but that's not like every day is like this, right? I mean, you have busy periods, and then you have periods where you can actually feel a bit more calm and chill. So, yeah. And the most difficult part, I would say, it's basically sometimes the deadlines, right? You have a busy life, as I already mentioned, right? You can have a period where you really do not have time in private, or you are on a business trip, and then you still need to deliver a paper, and you need to work on a group assignment with your peers and so on. So those deadlines are deadlines, right? They are not flexible. Still, you can somehow manage. Again, it happens that in some situations you just need to work during some weekends, nights, whatever. But I wouldn't say that this is any kind of like obstacle or whatsoever. Right? This is it was just down to your own motivation, and in the end, for me, it was more like, okay, if I have a solid plan how I want to achieve it, I do. The biggest difference in from my understanding is that it is doable. Before you thought, okay, an MBA, oh, okay, it costs so much time, it costs so much, I don't know, time and travel. You need to make some priorities in your life. Okay, do you meet friends this weekend or do you work on something? You think like, okay, this is too much, I will not manage that. This is only for people who really want to climb high. In the end, now it looks like a totally different way of studying to me. I mean, it is doable, right? It's like a master, which is maybe set up in a different way. The topics are a bit more heavy. You need to have some work experience to understand many things. Yes, but still, it doesn't feel like that unreachable like before. Right now, I'm really happy that I'm almost approaching the last phase, which is writing the graduation project. And still, when I look back in that 1 year, and also with my peers, when we think about that, how it all started, we were totally different people back then, even though it's just right now around 12 months, right? And we thought, oh my God, this will be a tough journey. And now we are thinking like, oh, that was nice. That was easier than thought, even though it wasn't easy per se. But I think that is also the magic of an MBA. And I think it's about everything like this. Once you start and once you have, let's say, smaller steps and you see the bigger goal somewhere, it suddenly becomes doable. And then it motivates you more to achieve that goal and to graduate. And after that, the satisfaction is, it's just there.